Here we go again.
Welcome back to Donuts in Space and part 5 of the USS Voyager rebuild. We are now at that stage where we're going to start rebuilding all of the detail back onto the model again. That's basically just using the stock styrene, photo etch parts, and also the 3D printed parts as well. Now, I have already started making some of the changes. One thing that I forgot to do, basically, when I was doing all the windows, and that was using the photo etch that's supplied within the green strawberry kit. Now, these lovely bits are the window templates for the B deck that go down this side here, and then also on this side down here as well. So we've got those out. The other thing that I've done is basically quickly gone around and basically tidied everything up, getting rid of all of the flashing that was on there, etc., and making sure that everything was as smooth as it possibly can be. One of the other things that I've done as well is the inside of these large window areas weren't flat, so you would have had a bit of a hard time with the photo etch and also the PEGT to do the windows with, getting that to actually sit straight. So I've sanded those down until they're sort of smooth and straight at the same time. So I've got those little bits done. Now, the next bit for me really is I need to build this area up, because if we take the 3D printed bridge, I'm basically done this wrong, and I kind of scored around that way rather than going in that way. So basically, if we try and put the bridge on, it falls down the hole. So I need to basically rebuild this section here. Now, I kind of loosely cut out a strip of styrene stock. Well, I say cut it out, I actually used the scissors, which made it curl up like a little pig's tail. But all I'm going to do basically is just pick a point on the kit, say like there, and then just basically glue that in. And then what I'll do is I'll just use a bit of masking tape to keep that in place whilst I kind of go around the whole of the edge. I might need about two layers of this in, and then once that's in, I can then just sand it, make sure that it's perfectly flat to the surface, and then hopefully the 3D bridge will fit in there. The 3D printed bridge will sit in there correctly, or sit on the surface correctly. So that's not too bad. Some areas might need a little bit of filler work in them, but you know, that's nothing bad with that area, because it's going to be dangerous sanding around it. I just use the good old perfect putty, which is acrylic, and I can just use a cotton bud on that to use to help get that flat. One of the changes that I am going to make, even though I do like the 3D bridge for this, the airlock at the back of it isn't actually, the detail isn't the best, to be fair, and it needs to actually be more inwards, to be fair. So I've used the photo etch, and you can see there that it does actually have a slight lip all the way around it. which is kind of cool. So I'm going to actually insert that into the bridge before it goes in. I've already marked that out. All I need to do is just cut that area out. I mean, as we can see, it's got the windows. This has got windows. If we have a look, see, you might be able to see it. We've got windows that were already put into it when it was being 3D printed, and they've actually put windows in the back end. I didn't realise whether they had windows there or not, but never mind. It adds to it, so a little bit more detail. So yeah, the bridge area is the first area that I'm going to deal with. Now this is going to need to be super glued on, so this will actually be going on last, before paint, really, because I don't want to start knocking it and then it falling off and then me then having to glue it back on and then it, you know, being knocked back off again, etc. I'm not going to go down that road, so I might as well just, before I'm ready to actually paint it, that's when it'll go on, and then it'll be left, and then hopefully it won't get knocked off at all after that. Once I've done that bit, then it's just going to be a case of getting onto this bit and rebuilding that detail there, and then I just start putting everything else together and getting this part sorted out, and then once I've got all the bits done that I need to, I'll then start worrying about the photo etch and how we're going to deal with that. So once I've made some progress to this wee beastie, I will come back to you. We've got some progress made to this wee beastie. So with the bridge section, we've got the styrene in place, and we've also used the green squadron putty to go around to fill in all the holes. There might still be a few little imperfections in there. We're not really going to know until such time that we start putting the primer down, but we can use the plastic putty to fill in any little divots that there might be, because if there are, they're only going to be small, so that stuff will really help with that. The bridge itself does fit on there now without falling into the hole, which is great. I'm not quite sure, well, I'm not putting the bridge on at the moment, to be fair. The reason being is the fact we've still got a lot of work to do, and I don't really want to knock the bridge. These parts are reasonably delicate, so I don't want to be breaking these. And because I'm not putting these on yet, I'm not going to put the photo etch details down on that side, or on that side and down there, and also the little lifeboats that we've got there as well. I'm just not putting those down until such time that we got this in place, because the other bits actually depend on this being in, really, to be able to get them lined up properly. So as I say, that'll be last to go on just before we start painting, and then I can get the other parts super glued on, not a problem at all. The rear sensor band, we've put the plastic in there to actually help lower the sensor band. Unfortunately, I did make the hole a bit too big, so I had to go back in again with another little piece of styrene there to actually fill the gap in. It's not really a biggie, to be fair. And then we just used again the squadron putty to go in and fill the holes. Again, there might be a few little divots in there, but as I say, plastic putty can actually take care of that without an issue. We've got this little bit of photo etching, because that was more dependent on the shape here more than anything else, so that's done. We've also got these the transporter array emitters in place. We've also got the Lifecraft hatches in place as well, and also the transporter emitters on the front. These parts here, I'm not too happy actually with the way that they came out. They look a little bit skewiff to me, a little bit off. So these are only glued down with a microcrystal clear, so I'm just going to pop these off, clean everything up, and then basically reseat these. The problem is, because the sensor dish, if I can find it in this little pot of goodies, I know I put it in here, but it's just a question of now trying to find it. Well, at least, there it is. I was going to say, at least I hope it's in there. But it is. So that's that. We got that now. Let's just put these away before we do anything else. So because of the sensor dish, sorry, not the sensor dish, the deflector array, or the secondary deflector array, we've got all of the photo etch on there. So that basically, when that's in, I can't really put it in properly because I need to sort of have that upended, but that kind of sits there like that, which then reduces the gap here, which means that all of these photo etch parts need to be pushed forward slightly. So these actually do sit right on, pretty much well on the edge of the lip there. But as I say, I don't really like the way that they've gone down, so I'm just going to have to take those off and redo them again. But as I say, that's not really a biggie because they're only stuck down with a bit of crystal clear glue, so they will just pop off when you get a knife underneath them. Let's just see if we can get this out before we do anything. Okay, let's just put that back in the box so we don't lose it. The work has started for the sensor bands. So I've just basically used 2 layers of the styrene card. What I'm going to do with these now, or the next step on these really, is to actually sand these down completely, so it's completely flush. They're not at the moment. We got them done on that side too. I'm not so, at the moment, not so worried about the low spots, to be fair, just more worried about the high spots. So once we've got the high spots done, and we've taken care of those, then with the sensors, we've basically taken all the edges off of those and also rounded the edges as well. What I need to do is just measure the width of those and then just basically drill the holes out, find the center of these parts, drill the holes out. Sorry, that wasn't quite in shot. Just drill the holes out, make sure that they're wide enough for the sensor bands to fit in, then just basically come back on this side with a thin bit of stock styrene to support the sensor bands from the back. We'll need to do a little bit of work in here as well and just remove some of the styrene. I totally forgot, to be fair, that we had a lip there, so I have made myself a bit more work in the fact that I'm going to have to come along and just basically tidy those up again and make sure that it's got that lip around for the bottom half of the saucer to sit on. Well, that's going to take a little while to do. The other thing that I need to do as well is, because we've got these little lips here, what I'm going to need to do on this styrene is, once I've got everything on here sorted out, I just need to put these two together, or I need to put the two halves together so I can then mark out exactly where those little lips fit, so I can then sand down that area for those to fit in. We had to, with the cargo hatches, we had to put the plastic in there because I shouldn't have taken it out. It was just a case of I just needed to remove the surface detail, and that was that. So that was my bad for not really looking at the instructions properly. But nonetheless, they're in now and looking good. These little bands here, they were basically put in with the microcrystal clear glue, and then I just basically followed up with just a little bit of super glue around the edges to make sure that they stay on permanently. But really, apart from that, I mean, apart from the hole there as well that we've taken out for all the wiring, etc., to go through, there's not really a lot of work left to do for this. All we need to do is just get the photo etch in for the windows, and then just start working on all of the little 3D printed rooms on this, and also for the top. And then we just need to light block the whole of the inside, and then put some matte white paint in there as well, just to help bounce the light around a bit. And then we can start experimenting with the rooms and see what they're going to look like with the lighting as well. I'm not sure with these little rooms whether we're going to need to add extra lighting in them or not. Hopefully we'll get away with not having to do that. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. I'm just going to carry on working on the areas where the sensor bands are, get them all sanded down properly and getting them looking level, and then start working on the other bits to make sure we can get the actual sensor bands in properly. So that's about it for the moment, guys. I will come back to you when I got some more work done to this wee beastie. After a stupid amount of sanding, we've now got all of the high spots knocked down on the styrene that I've put in, and I've also formed the ridges on the inside for the bottom half to sit down to. There was a little bit of a casualty on this side, whereby the hold broke, so I guess maybe I didn't put enough glue on that part, but anyway, I've re-glued that, that's fine. I've also put a bead of glue in as well around the bottom edges of all of these parts as well, just to make sure that they do hold properly, just because that one did break a bit. So the next part for me really now is just to, from the outside really, just mark out exactly where the sensors are going, and then once I've done that I can then drill those out, and then I'll be able to put the piece of backing thin styrene on the inside as well, just to make sure that they do hold properly. But I think that's going to be about it for this video. It's most probably getting a bit long, I don't really know, to be fair. So I'm just going to carry on, get some more work done to this wee beastie, and I will catch up with you in, I believe, part 6. So until then, thanks for watching, and as always, please do take care.